my friend, Simon Miller here, and we need to talk about Gordon Ryan again, even though we only just talked about him. But after sharing this photo, and then sharing this photo after a health scare where he needed serious treatment, Ryan then shared this photo a week on, and everyone lost their mind because of course they did. It led to comments such as the ones you're seeing on the screen right now, although if you do not have eyes and you'd like me to tell you, it was basically people pointing the finger of blame and saying this man has gone back on the juice. And this is exactly the issue with steroids, my friends, because most people genuinely do think that you just take a needle, you jab it into your ass, and within 7 days you look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, somebody who we are going to talk about later. I'm here to tell you that is not how it works. I mean, for one, no drug on earth would be able to transform you that quick, but more importantly, we just have to get this idea out of people's heads. And there are some folk out there who can't even handle a little bit of extra testosterone in their body because that's just not the way they're built. And even if you are a super responder or someone who responds very well to such drugs, you can't turn into Thor in 7 days. What planet are you living on? This is probably simply down to the fact that Gordon was totally depleted when he did share his worst picture. Then he went back into the gym, he started drinking water, he got his diet back on track when his body went, oh, I have muscle memory, I remember what you wanted me to do, and slowly but surely, he's getting back to where he was. We also have to remember the likes of the post-gym pump, lightning, and of course pre-workout, which is why sometimes I can look like this. I don't look like that every single day, and it's a constant kick in the groin, where sometimes I do catch myself in the fitness palace of love and then get home and have to look at this pop balloon man and be like, well, what the flub happened? I preferred the other guy. Also, please just ignore this stuff for goodness sake and focus on you. Social media isn't a real place. Most pictures you do see have been doctored in some sense, so don't get on this bandwagon and make yourself feel all sad panda. Focus on yourself and know that you're doing great and I love you. I mean, you deserve to feel good, which is not necessarily something I can say for Andrew Tate. So after dropping a podcast and a bunch of videos after his stay in a Romanian jail, and we do need to point out that he was never charged with anything, so, you know, it's important to put that out into the ether, he did say things like this.
I have about 10 to 15 cups of coffee a day and 2 or 3 cigars a day, and I only eat once a day.
That's right, he only eats once a day, but also...
It was garbage. I was like, give me my coffee back. I went back to my 15 cups of coffee a day.
Reaffirmed your coffee to have that much coffee.
Finally...
I have zero smoking damage on my lungs, zero. I was like, there's zero? I mean, I'll accept a little bit. I'll take a little bit, but I think it's because I train every single day. I work out every single day. I train hard every single day, and I think, you know, you burn it off. A couple cigars here and there are not a big deal. It's not cigarettes. I think cigars are better than cigarettes. I also believe nicotine is a super drug, so I'm not going to stop. I think nicotine and caffeine.
A super drug?
100%.
What does that mean?
Nicotine and caffeine are what I run on. 100, that's all I run on.
So there's a lot to unpack here, and of course, one, yes, intermittent fasting can work. A lot of people like to do it, but it's certainly not the be-all and end-all. And if you are someone that actually enjoys eating, do not think this is the path to success, that all that's going to happen is you're going to get to 8 p.m. at night and then you're going to eat a bunch of drunk because you're just so damn hungry. This is the way that most human beings operate. Secondly, no, I do not think anybody should be having 10 plus cups of coffee a day. I mean, everyone is going to be different, but it seems to be you can take in around about 500 milligrams of caffeine every 24 hours, and if you do go over that on a constant basis, you're just going to be a jittery mess. Or you're going to be sat around going, why am I so anxious? Well, it's because you have so much coffee in your system. And also, do not forget, just because Andrew Tate does it, or at least says he does it, doesn't mean this is actually going down. You can see the thread running through today's episode. It is all about social media. For goodness sake, take some salt and pinch it. Or take it with a pinch of salt. Finally, just for some balance as well, just because Tate says that he smokes these cigars and doesn't have any lung damage, doesn't mean that you're going to be so lucky. And tying it into one of my own personal situations, my auntie, who, yes, used to smoke back in the day, was recently diagnosed with lung cancer, and she gave up years ago. So you just never know. So always put health and fitness first. I don't think anyone needs to be smoking nothing. But again, it's not for me to say, you gotta pick your own path. I will commend him for getting his blood work done though, because that's something you should be doing as well. If you are putting erroneous things into your body, you should be checking up on your medical statistics too, because it's nice and simple. If the numbers do come back and you look at them and go, that's not exactly what I wanted to see, then just stop whatever it is that you're doing. Health and fitness has to come first and foremost, and as I now think I've said in every single one of my videos, you don't want to look big in a box. You want to look big in the real world. The only way to do that is to make sure you're feeling all right. And speaking of reminding yourself about what true and what maybe isn't true, let's say hello to Erling Haaland. this guy. And if you are into the Premier League or soccer, for my American friends, you will recognise this Manchester City striker because he signed for the Blues, won the treble, and basically broke every single record there was to break. Also, he's an absolute monster. Because right now he is looking like this. Which shouldn't come as a huge surprise because he is a giant centre forward, although a few months ago, this picture did the rounds, and now everybody is mad. But it is called lighting, people, for goodness sake. I mean, if we zoom into picture number 2, you can see his abs and you can see his obliques, but he's probably stood right under a damn light, which is washing him out. Whereas with picture 1, he's outside, he's probably got better lighting. Maybe he's just done a bunch of, oh, I can't believe we won the treble, so he's got a little bit of a pump on. But try and pretend this is some kind of massive transformation, well, it's absolutely not. He's also probably filtered the shit out of it, because you do it, and I do it, so why wouldn't he? Haaland will also have a bunch of people watching his diet and watching his training regime every single minute of every single hour. So sure, maybe over the 3 months, the 4 months when they did have their big run-in to win all these 3 cups, he leaned up his diet a little bit and he got a little bit more cut. But I cannot stand these people who are now going, oh my gosh, it's such an amazing transformation. The dude's in great shape and he deserves all the plaudits, but you have to remember what you see is not always what you get. And also, you're doing great. As we've already talked about, make sure you keep smashing it. Don't let this madness drag you down. Talking about people smashing it, it's time to talk about Arnold Schwarzenegger's kid. Look at this guy. Now that is a dude who is in very good shape, but Joseph Bania recently did say that he's catching up with his dad. And I kind of feel like we should leave that there, because he's not. However, he did drop some great advice from Arnie, because he said, my dad's main piece of advice has always been do the reps, and it sounds just like the gym, but it really makes sense because it's all about practice, practice, practice. The more that you practice, the more that you can prepare for these roles, the better you're going to be, and I've taken that to heart, and I've taken that into every role that I've been doing. And this is true. Everything I've ever approached in my real life, I've always applied gym logic, which is to go, well, why don't I make a bunch of small, simple, realistic goals, and when I get there, I'll make a few more small, realistic, simple goals. That way you're always succeeding a little bit, it keeps your positivity high, and before you know it, you look back and go, hot damn, I got some stuff done. So basically, never stop believing in yourself and you will be fine, much like John Cena.
No, wiggle like underneath. Huh? I'm gonna ask you. What's going on here?
That's right, at some point recently, John Cena was just in a random gym in Liverpool. And that guy saw him and totally freaked out, which you did do, 1, because it's John Cena, and 2, how was he able to see him to begin with? It's also time for a Miller's musing, because this reminds me of the time where I went to a gym in Slough, where a bunch of people there told me, oh dude, you just missed the rock in here. And I was like, don't you pull my chain, you absolute heathen. And obviously it made the papers, it made social media, this picture came out, and I genuinely missed the great one by mere seconds. So that's a screw job if I ever have chatted about one. What a depressing way to end the video. So to make up for it, please do like the video, share the video, and subscribe. And a video is about to appear on the screen in just 1 second. Give it a click, and we can talk about how supplements will ruin your life forever. You can also click the link in the description for Grill of Mine, grillofmine.com/Simon, and use the code Simon to get 10% off. These are supplements I use because I think they're fantastic. You can go to Samson Athletic or ProWrestlingTees.com/Simon Miller to get some of my merchandise. I would massively appreciate that. It's Patreon.com/Simon316 to support me that way. Simon316 on Instagram and Twitter. I am on Cameo, the personalized video messaging service. Just search for Simon Miller, but otherwise just interact with the video as much as you can. If you are going to the gym today, I hope you totally smash it and you come out with a giant pump, which then disappears in the next few seconds. It's the worst thing in the world. I said we were going to end positively. We're not. Negative Nancy's. Goodbye.